What's going on, guys? Here at the park today, we're gonna long line, and I got a really exciting video to share with you guys. So it is well known that the hardest part about rigging long lines is actually tensioning them, especially when you rig the way we do here. If you see here, we bring out a ladder and we rig our anchors about, I want to say 12 to 15 feet high. So when we get the line in the Weblock here and we start to tension, the pulleys need to go way out on the webbing, and it actually becomes a big hassle where we have to reset the pulleys multiple times, and it takes us about 30 minutes to actually get this thing to the tension we need, which is around 4.5 kilonewtons at this length. So we've got this 90-meter gap. Our anchors are about 12 feet high, and I'm gonna teach you guys a new, really exciting way to tension. So before I start this video officially, I want to give a huge shout out to Arthur Pena. I was actually scrolling through Instagram when I saw him doing this originally. I'm just kind of piggybacking off this idea and running with it. So yeah, Arthur Pena, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much. If you guys want to see more of his stuff, you can follow him here on his social media channels. First, I'm going to explain the concept really quick, and then we'll actually go ahead and do it. So we've got our long line rigged, the static side's over there, and that's rigged normal, as usual. It's just connected to a Spanset on a tree. On this side, we would normally put our Weblock, and then we would put the pulleys on this, get it all tensioned up and play. But today, instead of a Weblock, I'm gonna actually be using a Kootenai rescue pulley here at this point, where I'll route the webbing through there, and then run the webbing back this way to this tree, and we're actually gonna tension off this tree, which is gonna be a much lower point. And the advantage is that we can reset our pulleys very easily from the ground without having to do any work at height. So it should make it a much more efficient rigging process. Let's get to it. We're gonna put the Kootenai, we're gonna reroute our webbing to our other anchor, and we're gonna see if the webbing sits nicely in the Kootenai. I did a girth hitch with the Spanset because that'll actually allow it to twist a little bit, and the Kootenai, obviously, because the tree isn't in line with the line I'm using, the Kootenai is going to twist a little bit. So I want the Spanset to be able to twist just a little bit, just to allow the Kootenai that motion it needs. One of my concerns is that the webbing may not sit as nicely as I think it's going to in the Kootenai. I'm not sure yet. We're gonna find out. Now another thing about this method, you need a big pulley like a Kootenai. I'm fortunate enough to have one. They're about $200. It's quite an expensive piece of gear. But yeah, anyway, let's get started and we'll talk more after we do the method. Okay, so the webbing is through the Kootenai. It looks like it's gonna sit really nicely. I'm not sure yet. I'm worried that the webbing may touch these corners here. We're gonna find out. Stay tuned for that. Now, that is one of the advantages of the way Arthur Pena did it. He used an anchor straight right behind the anchor he was using. He had like an overhanging branch, so there wasn't a trunk in the way. And the advantage is that his webbing was just perfectly straight up and then through this, so it didn't touch these corners. It didn't come close, nothing like that. Now, the corners aren't sharp. I'm not too worried about them, but you know, it's webbing under tension. Still shouldn't be touching things, so maybe we can pat them. We'll see. So one thing that I very quickly learned, and I'm glad I learned it before I started tensioning this line. So we've got the Kootenai here, and webbing here goes, this is our gap webbing. This goes to our Weblock over there. Now, the Kootenai, it's on such a long piece of anchor. That's bad. That's gonna pull the anchor down significantly. Ideally, the closer this Kootenai is to the tree up there, the lower it'll be able to pull it down. So I'm gonna use a much shorter Spanset and try to get this Kootenai way up there, so that way we don't lose height on our anchor. So just things we're looking out for, you know. Very glad I noticed that before I started tensioning and realized that this anchor was way lower than the other one. So I'm gonna change that real quick and then we'll get back to this. So I left the old anchor in just for reference. It's right here. But if you look at the Kootenai now, it's way up there. It's probably a whole 5 feet higher than it was, and that's about as low as it can go because it's hanging straight down right now. So okay, we're gonna go back to our tension anchor. I'm gonna get a little bit of tension in this line, and then I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. Woo, guys, I'm actually really excited for this. I like this a lot. So okay, so we've got a ground anchor here. You see I'm standing and this thing's about by my knee. I put a load cell on it because I know I need to get it to about 4.5 kilonewtons before it's at my walking tension. I put the soft release here because why deal with it high up when I could deal with it here, and the Weblock here. So if you follow this webbing, it's going up now. It's up there. It goes through that kootenai right there. That's at our anchor. Ignore the soft shackle, that's just a connection. And then our line is here. It's off the ground already. I haven't even put the pulleys on it yet. So I'm gonna put the pulleys, start cranking on it a little bit, and we're gonna see if we can get this to walking tension without me ever having to go up there to tension from up high. So I'm really excited about this. I don't know, maybe just a geeky slackline thing, but I hope you're excited too. In my opinion, super innovative way to rig long lines. Much easier, especially if you're by yourself, because when you're with a group of friends and you're doing the thing up high, you know, one of you guys can stay up there, reset the multiplier while the rest pull, and it's kind of efficient. It's not too bad. But if you're by yourself, you got to do all the rolls by yourself. You got to pull, you got to go down the ladder, pull, go back up the ladder to reset your multiplier, pull again, and do that all over and over and over again. This way, I just did this by myself. This was super easy, super straightforward, no hassle way to tension and rig a long line. So okay, so I've got my pulleys on it. By the way, guys, these are the RAED pulleys. RAED is my sponsor. They support me really well. You guys are super rad. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to be making a video about these soon. I've had a lot of questions about them, so I'm just gonna make a quick summary of what I think of them. So stay tuned for that later in the year. Anyway, I'm super stoked. This is gonna work. The line is almost up to the tension I need it to be. I'm just getting a few more pulls. Now, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, yeah, guys, this method, incredible. I'm so stoked about it. Drop a comment on what you think about this method, any ways to improve it, anything you don't like about it. Just let me know down in the comments, guys. Like this video for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already, guys. My analytics say that 80% of my viewers are non-subscribers. Yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna get it up to the tension I need real quick, and then I'm gonna give it a quick walk on camera just to show you that this isn't a dangerous idea. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm gonna go walk this slackline now. Well, as soon as I'm done tensioning. Woo! I got nutted on that one. So let's see what the kootenai looks like when someone's up and bouncing on the line. Ryan, say hi! Ryan's on the line. We're gonna check out the kootenai close up. You do your thing, I'm gonna just watch the kootenai. So, we look at the kootenai. We go up there. Not wearing fall protection, this is dangerous. You see the webbing slightly slides back and forth in there, but that's a rotating wheel, so that's okay. If we look here, it's not scraping the edge at all. Not even close, actually. Super bomber is my verdict. What do you guys think? Greg gives a thumbs up. What about you guys? Can't see you. Put your thumb up. All right, so big misconception here for angles of pull and things like that. When you're pulling on a pulley like this, the shorter your angle, the more multiplication you have. For example, if these two strands were parallel coming out of there, you'd multiply the force on the pulley by 2, because that's the tension on each line. So the bigger the angle between your webbing here, the better, the less force you have on your pulleys. You should know that, so that if you go out and rig this, you don't try to find the smallest possible angle like what I did today. Use a bigger angle and it'll be safer.